After 50, I came face to face with a truth no one likes to admit. I didn't have all the time in the world anymore. Maybe you felt that too. It's not about clocks or calendar dates. It's about life moving too fast. One day, you wake up and realize that decades have flown by. Conversations were put off. Dreams stayed locked away. That shock hit me like a quiet jolt. And in that moment, everything that had felt so important, rushing, pleasing, stockpiling, delaying, just didn't make sense anymore. I found myself facing the question that changes everything. What will I do with the time I've got left? I know this feeling of urgency well. I've felt that tightness in the chest, like life was whispering. You can't pretend time is endless anymore. It was confronting, but strangely freeing too. And that's why I want to share what I've learned along the way. If you stick with me, you'll see how this shock can actually become a beginning, how it's still possible, even after 50, to live lighter, truer, and with more purpose. This video isn't about tragedy or lifelong regret. It's about transformation. When life shows us that time doesn't rewind, our first reaction is fear. It's like a shadow reminding us of all we've put off. But here's what I want you to understand: that awakening isn't a punishment. It's a call. The most silent and powerful scout way life says, hey, now's the time to choose what really matters. After 50, each day can be lived one of two ways: counting down or starting fresh. The difference is in how you choose to see the time you've got. Over the next few minutes, I'll share some reflections born from that shock. I'll show you how urgency can lead to clarity, how to let go of what no longer serves you, and how to give new meaning to the time that's still ahead. If you've ever felt like there's no time left, I want to show you there's still a road ahead, and it can be richer, gentler, and more real than anything that came before. There comes a point after 50 where life suddenly pulls you up. No warning, no rehearsal. Sometimes it's a routine test that returns an unexpected result. Other times it's the quiet of an empty house after the kids have moved on. It could even be blowing out birthday candles and realizing you don't have as many left as you once did. These moments sting. They cut deep because they remind us of something we try to forget. Time doesn't rewind. It's like every memory comes wrapped in a tough question. What did I do with the years that passed? And what can I still do with what's left? I felt that stop myself. One day, a simple medical checkup pulled the rug out from under me. It wasn't anything life-threatening, but it was enough to make me realize I'm not invincible. That time wasn't mine to command. And in that moment, I saw how even the smallest choices, what I eat, who I sit down to dinner with, how I spend my mornings, shape the person I'll become tomorrow. And that's true for all of us. Your body starts talking louder. Tiredness that didn't used to be there. Aches that weren't before. Work doesn't demand the same fire. Friends and family drift. All these little signs are life's way of saying, time's moving on, and you can't bargain with it. But here's the most important bit. That shock isn't just pain. It's a chance to see clearly what was once hidden by the rush. It's as if life puts a mirror in front of you and says, have a good look. You've still got choices. What are you going to do with them? Plenty of people hit this moment and sink into regret. They get stuck in the loop of, I should have done things differently. But the truth is, the past can't be changed. The only thing you can shift is how you choose to live from now on. Because when life shows us that time won't rewind, it gives us a hidden gift. The clarity that we can't afford to live on autopilot anymore. There's a trap many people fall into when they realize time isn't endless, thinking it's too late. Like life, after 50 is just waiting for days to pass, with no room to start fresh or rewrite the story. But that's simply not true. How many stories have you heard of people making their biggest changes at this stage of life? A bloke picks up a guitar at 55 and finds he can move people with music. A woman, past 60, opens the little business she always dreamed of and discovers a sense of purpose youth never gave her. A couple packs their bags after retiring and finally sets off on adventures they'd postponed for decades. Time might not be endless, but there's still enough for what really counts. And that's the key, choosing what counts. So many of us spend years chasing things that, in the end, don't bring peace. Money, titles, recognition. But when life gets real, it's the simple things that hold true value: health, real friendship, the courage to forgive or say, I love you, without waiting for the perfect moment. I remember chatting with a 70-year-old bloke who said, I wasted time trying to matter to the world, and only later realized what I really needed was to matter to the people I love. That line never left me, because it points to something most people take a lifetime to learn. You can't get back the time that's gone, but you can turn what's left into gold if you live it with purpose. After 50, there's still time to learn something new, fall in love, move to a new town, make peace with someone, take your health seriously, or simply choose a slower life that fits who you really are. Maybe you look back and see a lot of time wasted. But what if I told you the only way to honor that time is to live differently now? It's not about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about turning it into a lesson. Because when you understand what not to repeat, you make space for what can truly flourish. Wasted time hurts, but the time ahead can heal. When we realize we haven't got time to waste, life brings us to a crossroads. Either we let that urgency freeze us, or we turn it into fuel to live with purpose. So what does it really mean to live with purpose after 50? It's not about achieving more, owning more, or proving anything to the world. It's about aligning every choice with what truly gives your soul meaning. It's about deciding every single day what's worth spending your most precious resource on: time. There are three paths that helped me make that shift, and they might help you too. First, choose what really matters. When everything feels urgent, nothing gets priority. That's why, after 50, we need to filter with courage. Maybe it's time to look after your health more seriously, make space for family moments, or finally invest in that thing you've always put off. Say yes only to what feeds your essence. Second, stop waiting for the right time. One of time's biggest traps is convincing us there'll always be a better moment. But the truth is, the perfect time doesn't exist. What does exist is your decision to begin now, even with small steps. Start walking, start learning something new, start healing that relationship, start giving shape to that dream. Third, learn to say no to what drains your energy. After 50, we simply can't carry it all anymore. People, commitments, habits that sap your peace. They've got to go. Every no you give to what wears you down is really a yes to the life you truly deserve. When urgency turns into purpose, time stops being the enemy. It becomes a daily reminder that every sunrise is another chance to write what's still missing in the story of your life. And here's the most beautiful part. It doesn't matter how many chapters have already passed. The deepest, most meaningful part of your story can still begin now, because purpose doesn't have an age. What has an age is the illusion that we're eternal. After 50, life shows us something many spend decades trying to ignore. Time doesn't come back. But this awakening doesn't need to be a burden or a sentence. It can be the turning point, a reminder that every minute can still be lived with presence and depth. What's behind you can't be rewritten, but what's in front of you can be lived with a richness your younger self may never have known, because now you understand the value of silence, the ache of absence, the power of a genuine hug. Now you see that it's not the big achievements that fill the soul. It's the small, truthful gestures. That feeling of, I don't have time anymore, can become a compass, pointing you towards what's worth your energy and what's time to release. And maybe that's the greatest gift of aging: learning to choose better, love deeper, and walk lighter. Never forget, time isn't your enemy. It's just proof that you're still here, breathing, alive, and able to begin again. As long as there's breath, as long as mornings keep coming, there's still road to travel and stories to live. And maybe, just maybe, now is the time to write the most beautiful chapters of your life. If this message spoke to you, share this video with someone who also needs to hear. There's still time, and let me know in the comments. When was the moment you realized you couldn't afford to waste your days anymore? Your story might inspire someone else to start again too. And if you want to keep walking this journey with me, subscribe to the channel. Here, we talk about how to live with purpose after 50, with calm, depth, and honesty. Because life may have shown us that time is short, but you've still got time.